Imagine for a second that you work at a retail bank, major retail banks such as JP Morgan Chase. Someone comes to you and asks you, how many new accounts were added last week in Europe? To answer this question, you first have to define what is an account, what is meant by new, where is Europe, when does the week start, and in what time zone are we actually calculating this whole equation, this metric. My name is Sega, this is Erica, and the problem we're solving is that junior data analysts today cannot perform work because it often requires the expertise of a senior professional. This is me many years ago. I was such a junior data professional, data analyst. I was really good at coding. I could build many applications, but I did not have domain expertise to sometimes answer basic questions. Allow me to introduce an AI data developer that does not just generate code, but it actually has the main expertise to produce that first draft, that initial draft, and has an interactive environment that allows users to give it feedback. Elad Gil, an investor, calls it a copilot for next-gen data stack. An insider from another major retail bank once told me that it takes sometimes close to a year for entry-level analysts coming from top schools, elite schools, to become productive members of the organization, and be able to help data teams. With our tool, a data analyst is instantly able to contribute to a data team. Oh, and by the way, we in the last few weeks secured an LOI from an enterprise company over in Seattle, and we already have thousands of data analysts interested in this product. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the word to Erica, and she's going to show you the product and explain how it works.
Awesome. So it has a ChatGPT-like terminal where the analyst can enter plain text, asking it a question, and it will spit out deep analytical solutions by actually writing the code for the analyst. Now, please note, this is very different from ChatGPT Analytics due to the fact that we have trained it on proprietary data sets as well as our collective 25 plus years of industry experience that we have then built into the model. It also can work in whatever data language that the data analyst is using, Python, R, MATLAB, and then it will translate over and push that code into whatever visualization tool that the analyst is using. It's visualization agnostic. It can use Tableau, it can use Looker Studio, it could actually have Python build out that analytical solution for you. And it will really work with whatever data visualization tool that the analyst needs. So let's just do a hypothetical situation. The VP of sales asks the analyst, hey, I want to know what the MRR is for the past quarter. And the analyst will then log into the data.ml interface. It will type the first prompt, or it will start out by having a blank data panel where it will then ask the prompt, please give me the MRR for a dashboard. As it types it in, the platform will then begin to write the code, and it will add additional code as the analyst prompts it, add retention by cohort. Again, the analyst can prompt it, asking it to add the CAC, and then it will ask it again to compile all of that code that it has built to put it into a dashboard. That will then connect to the data visualization tool that the analyst is using, and it will actually build out a comprehensive dashboard that it can then present to the VP of sales. It can write a report. It can give that data visualization to whatever resource that it needs.
Thank you. You could say we've been playing this company long before the current AI hype cycle. Nearly 10 years ago, I was part of a early team and first customer-facing data scientist at a company called Looker. That was acquired by Google, became the fourth largest acquisition in Google's history, yada, yada. We created the modern data stack.
I spent the past 10 years building data pipelines for Fortune 500 companies. I'm an alumni of the Harvard Business Analytics program, and our team has a very collective and unique skill set for this industry.
Collectively, in the past 10 years, we have consulted nearly 100 companies and Fortune 100 companies such as TransferWise, Procore, Strava, you name it. Almost every week, there are numerous AI copilots launched and raising money. But applications, as far as the LLM goes, for data are somewhat superficial. The majority of AI startups, copilots, and even ChatGPT do not have code from data teams because it is proprietary and proprietary to companies and is not available publicly to the world. Our business model relies heavily on enterprise sales and a subscription model. We expect that our target customer profile is a mid-tier technology company with roughly 2,000 employees, maybe something around 50 analysts, relying today on about 20 to 50 existing data vendors, data applications that they're heavily using. At a price point of around $50 per month per licensed user, we expect to make around $32,000 to potentially $50,000 per year per customer. We have validated this by looking at market data, among BI and data analytics tooling, as well as developer tooling. Excel. So there are roughly 10 times more users of Excel than of BI and data analytics tooling. Let that sink in. After 30, 40 years of working on a variety of data tooling, BI tooling, you name it, thousands of tools, hundreds of thousands of engineers, the number of users using Excel is 10 times more than the number of users using other tools combined. We believe there's a giant opportunity in bringing Excel level ease of use to mainstream advanced analytical tools. We're supported by very prestigious angel investors and some very seasoned technical advisors. One of them is here today, and expect to add more in the coming days. Going into 2024, we expect to win over 10 paying enterprise customers. And about 50 to 100 licensed users per enterprise company. So I want to leave you with one personal note. 10 years ago, I joined a company called Looker, and almost overnight, the feeling that I got was that I became a power user. I became a 10x power user. I became super productive. It was an amazing feeling. This is exactly the feeling that we're trying to introduce into DataML for our customers. Thank you.
So any questions from the audience on DataML? Here.
So do you have any idea about the accuracy level?
But what?
Accuracy.
So she was asking about accuracy level.
Okay. Yeah. In what sense? In terms of benchmarking or? Exactly. This is precisely. This is exactly why we want to do this. because today, if you go to existing tools, let's say ChatGPT, and you extract code from there, it's not production level code. There's a lot that has to happen. Not only is it kind of you're getting snippets, the vision that we have is way bigger than what exists out there. We want you to be able to build an entire house, right? We're not talking about like how to define the building block of a stable, but we're talking about building entire projects and receiving code that is production quality. So in order to get that, there's actually a lot that has to happen. And you have to actually understand what is the context of the organization, what kind of code they have written before. You have to know a lot about different use cases, right? You will never hire an OpenAI to drive your self-driving car. You want a company that trains specialized models for driving self-driving cars, right? You don't want a generic solution, you want a specialized solution. So that's where we come in. We want to focus on accuracy in order to be able to deliver that production level code. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't done benchmarks, but right now it's even visual. You saw it in the demo. We're able to generate code that powers your dashboards without any other modifications. You cannot do this today with any other tool. Like it's not an order of like are we improving it at 1.3? We're improving it 10x.
And just that, so like proprietary data set is because that is what helps to train the model. That industry level code is then the
How do you think about pricing? I guess when I think of pricing, I usually think of like replacement value of whatever your solution is replacing. And it seems like the level of productivity that you're able to achieve seems like why not charge more than 30K to an enterprise? But maybe just tell me your thought process.
Yeah, I mean, these things are complex, right? Like, and one of the vendors, not an AI vendor, but kind of in that space, sort of like the semantic layer company called DBT, way more mature. They're like Series D or something like that. And many years into their kind of existence, they like recently changed pricing. There are different kind of philosophies here. One is like usage based, which sort of reflects the cost side of things a little bit, right? Like the use of a lens and that kind of stuff. On the other hand, you kind of don't want to penalize engagement. You kind of want to give people sort of like a blank ticket to use the tool as much as possible. This is like where my kind of philosophy sort of lies on this stuff. In terms of the actual like price ticket, I think I'm much more interested in capturing as much of the market as possible, as quickly as possible, rather than like trying to sort of extract as much money from people very early on. My take on this is that right now we have, I don't know, like in the data sort of profession, kind of like, I don't know, maybe like 800,000 users, like kind of doing semantic layer data modeling. If we take in also like, Python and all that kind of stuff, maybe like 3 million people. I believe that if we simplify this significantly, if we allow people to write, to generate massive amounts of code with just a few lines of, of instructions, we can expand the market significantly, right? Like everyone here is going to become a developer. Like not for the work, but like, because it's going to be super easy. And that means we're going to expand the market to potentially something like 300 million developers. So like, I'm not going to sort of like decide like, are we going to charge like $50 or $60 to extract that marginal value?